What's up guys, I'm JacobTSuggs and welcome back to another video. I finished making a short film yesterday, that's why I haven't been making as many videos because I've been working on that and doing some other stuff. However, I'm gonna start uploading more frequently now, and I promise this time there won't be another massive hiatus. But before I talk about what I want to discuss in today's video, I want to give a quick shout out to a really good friend of mine named Joel. Joel has a YouTube channel called Resort where he makes a lot of essays and videos and stuff like that, and he does a really good job of it. So if you haven't seen his videos, go check him out, tell him that I sent you, and trust me, you won't be disappointed because his content is literally amazing. But that all out of the way, let's discuss what I want to talk about today. Okay, so I know that this episode is all about the mysterious production and ultimate cancellation of Alien 5, but hear me out. I feel like I need to talk about the director and some general background information before I get into all of that, so either you can continue watching to hear my thoughts on Blomkamp's other films, or you can skip to this time to hear me talk about Alien 5. So here we go. Either continue watching to hear my thoughts on his movies and what I think about him as a director, or you can just skip ahead, so it's up to you. Now, Neill Blomkamp might just be one of my favorite directors working today, despite the fact that I personally, and unfortunately several others, haven't really loved what he's done since 2009's District 9. That film is an absolutely fantastic science fiction film that was actually nominated for Best Picture at the 2010 Academy Awards. However, like I said, his other two films, which I'm going to get more into in a second, aren't as great if you're asking me. If you like those films, that's fine, but for me personally, they're just not as great as District 9. Now, what makes Neill Blomkamp stand out to me is that he's got a really realistic and gritty style that works well for balancing out science fiction with what we define as real-world issues in real life. I love how he addresses these real-life issues going on in society today through science fiction fantasy, and I seriously think that's what makes him stand out in the realm of science fiction films. District 9 is about discrimination and poverty, Elysium is about equality through social classes, and Chappie is about learning from where we grow up while wanting to defy what we may be destined to become through society. But that being said, District 9 is really the only film that I, because everything is really subjective, believe is a great film. See, the problem isn't Blomkamp's style or even the themes that he approaches, but rather the script. Everything starts with a script, and if you write a bad script, it'll more than likely end up a bad film. Elysium just felt pretty meh to me because it didn't develop the world or characters enough for me, and was just a movie that I've seen 100 other times done in better ways. And Chappie is objectively the worst of the three, but is actually my second favorite film that he's made because it's a lot more interesting from the get-go than Elysium was. The problem with that film though is that they focus so much on this robot learning from all of these terrible people instead of the positive learning experiences that it just made this robot a giant douchebag that I didn't care about. So as much as I admire the man, he certainly is hit or miss. But his takes on the genre of science fiction are certainly unique, and it's that very reason that, believe it or not, he was actually in line to direct the next installment of the Alien series. You see, after the blunder that was Alien Resurrection, which I personally don't like, the franchise was dormant for a long period of time if you don't count the Alien vs. Predator films. So the idea was essentially follow up the first and second films in the franchise and ignore pretty much everything else, so kind of like a soft reboot. And that's exactly what it would have been. Alien 5 would have essentially been a soft reboot of the series, and even would have erased the off-screen deaths of Newt and Hicks that Alien 3 unfortunately placed in the canon and disappointed several fans with. Honestly, everyone involved or that discussed the potential film with Blomkamp actually seemed really excited about it, with even Sigourney Weaver wanting to return to the universe, and the fans becoming more and more hyped through the various amounts of concept art that found their way onto the internet. And yeah, if you are curious to check out the production and concept art and stuff like that, I will be linking it down in the description below. Now, unlike some other films that I've discussed here on my channel, there isn't a script online for Alien 5, so there's no real no way to know exactly what it would have been about. However, we do know that a pre-production started around 2015, and a 2017 release was slated with 20th Century Fox on board. And yeah, although Alien Covenant and more films directed by Ridley Scott in that universe were in development at that time, sources claim that Alien 5 would have been a separate film from those films, taking place far enough in the future, or possibly being a standalone film, to where it could differentiate itself from Scott's installments in the series. Supposedly, the working title was Alien Xeno, but there's really no way to know for sure. So, what happened? If everything was going well, why did they just stop? Well, 2 words: Ridley Scott. Apparently, Scott was becoming more and more disappointed and disinterested in Blomkamp directing an Alien film, and according to him, the film didn't make it far into development before coming to a close. According to Scott, I think that Blomkamp's film will never see the light. There was never a scenario, just an idea that evolved into a pitch of 10 pages. I had to participate as a producer, but it did not go any further because Fox decided that they did not want to do it. I had already done Prometheus and worked on Covenant. Now, that statement by Scott was done in an interview for Alien Covenant around that release, and it was pretty much dormant and up in the air until April 2017, when Blomkamp himself had this to say regarding Alien 5 and Scott's comments on the film. I think that it's totally dead. Yes, I think that if the circumstances were different, and I didn't feel like I was getting too close to something that he obviously feels a massive personal connection to, that things may have played out differently, but I did want to be as respectful as possible. So yeah, although it seems like Blomkamp's ideas and passion for the film were indeed there, it appears as if it never really got off the ground in the first place. Alien 5 could just be a glorified pitch, or it could have gotten further than we realize into development, but if you're asking me, from what I've researched about this project, it's really just one big enigma. Who knows, with the right script, I feel like Blomkamp could have had something special, but we'll never know, and that's the sad reality of it all. Maybe he could have had another District 9 or struck out with another Elysium, but either way, it's good to know that Blomkamp is still producing and directing his own films through his studio Oats, which is actually crowdfunded and share all of their productions here on YouTube. And yeah, although I really love what Ridley Scott is doing with this series with both Prometheus and Alien Covenant, it's clear that not everyone is on board for these films, so maybe Scott should have let somebody else take the reins. But hey, with Disney buying out 20th Century Fox and gaining all of the rights to all of these new properties, including Alien, maybe one day we will get an Alien 5, and whether Blomkamp directs it or not, I'll be sitting in that theater, because in space, no one can hear you scream. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and if you know anything about this project that I may have failed to mention here, please let me know down in the comments below. I love reading the comments and, hearing what you guys have to say. That being said, I'm Frame by Frame. Remember the name, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.